In a world where there are a million movie reviews, in a time where every single person has a podcast, in a place where everyone is a critic, it's Netflix and Phil.
Yeah, it was fun. I was heartbroken when we had to tear the sets down because I basically just wanted to move in. I'm so obsessed with the 70s that around that time I also had a Broadway show, a musical I wrote with Seth Rudetsky that was a 1970s disaster movie musical with all hit songs from the 70s.
Tell me about it. Now it's called Disaster.
It's called Disaster, yeah. And you can do it at your school or at your community theater, and people are really having fun doing it. I love when I see pictures and videos of people performing the show. It's crazy how many hit songs are in this show, and they all move the plot forward. There's like 35 hit songs from the 70s, from disco, pop, rock. It's a big ensemble. It's all these different people on a casino boat in 1979, a disco casino boat. And of course, everything that could go wrong goes wrong.
So that said, with Space Station 76, I could feel that element of 70s disaster movies in it. Yeah. So in your explaining the plot of Disaster itself, the musical, I'll just say this, I'll say a title, The Poseidon Adventure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely an homage to that and Earthquake and Rats.
Love it.
There was a movie about snakes called... So yeah, but it's an homage to those. So you don't have there's no specific references to them, but it's you love those movies, yeah.
The Poseidon Adventure is like a comfort film. You can put it on and do laundry, and it's in the background. It's very comforting.
Yeah, in our show, the ship flips upside down, and
I love it. Excellent. Okay, Z Nation. I recently interviewed someone who I also met via the internet, who is a cast member of that series. Her name is Sarah Coates, and came to find... I love Sarah. She's darling. And you also appear in that as the character Roman Estes. And
I got to be all throughout the last season,
which is wonderful. And what you do in this, I know we expect a lot of comedy from your characters, but you also bring in your work a lot of layers to everything you do in film and television. So talk to me about how you ended up in Z Nation and the kind of arc of this character.
Well, I auditioned for it, and I had one callback. I sent in the video, and then I had a callback at the office, and I booked it, and it was very exciting for me. I love horror, and I know you do too, and there's much we could talk about that. So that was, to think, oh my God, I'm going to get to be in a zombie world was very exciting. And the interesting thing was, as I was flying into, what city was that? It's not Portland. It's oh shit, I'm so embarrassed, but I can't remember the name of the city, but Phoenix, I think.
Okay.
No. Point is, I'm flying in to film my first scene there, and they had the worst fire, and the air was toxic to breathe. And my plane is landing, and the sky is turning orange.
Oh no!
And it was like I was flying into a post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, that lasted there was just a solid day where people were told to stay indoors because of a fire out in the woods. But anyway, as far as building the character, I just kind of go with the writing, and I did want to make sure that, because I love the writing of this show. He's so brilliant because, there's a lot of people that are good and bad. And so I love that. I love kind of finding that balance so that you don't hate my character, and also that there's something mysterious. So I had to also hold back because you don't find out how bad he might be until a bit later. And so it was fun to find a way to give hints without giving it away.
It was nice to discover that over the course of the episodes. And you're paired with, when I researched her, someone that I kind of gasped, and I was like, I had no idea.
You gasped? I didn't know until I was in the van with her going to set. Someone said her last name, and I went, oh, Hurst. Lydia Hurst.
Lydia, who's amazing as, I believe the character is Pandora, right?
Yeah, I couldn't have been with a better sidekick. She was so great, and she made my character, like, she completed him because she was the danger. He was the brains. She was the danger, and her character just made my character more. She basically acted for me. She was so great, and a very, very lovely person.
Well, intense performance and layered like yours. And I won't give it away, but there's a very intimate scene in one of the episodes in the last season of Z Nation.
I have another interesting story from the shoot of that show. We were on a college campus, and I was in we were being held in just a science room, and the science guy's like, yeah, there's dead bodies next door. The guy who worked at the college. And I was like, can I see him?
Of course. No, I don't blame you. I would have been the same way.
And he took us back there, and all of a sudden we're in a room looking at a dead body, and he's pulling the chest off. And we're like we couldn't, my brain exploded. And literally then all of a sudden it was like, back to set, we hear, and we like rush on the set, and we're back on set. And everyone else is like normal. And we're like, we couldn't believe what just happened. Anyway, that was just a crazy thing. That doesn't happen on set very often.
Well, it's funny, you're working on this production that's all about zombies and, corpses, etc. And then there's one in real life.
Yeah, more than one. I think we saw 3. It was like, unzip the bag, open it up. Okay, anyway, you were going to say something?
I probably was, but now I'm so invested in this. Well, speaking of horror and horrific productions, I didn't know if we'd have time to talk about this, but also on your YouTube channel, we explored Disney, but you also did a run with Carrie and The Exorcist.
Yeah, I love horror.
Well, that's why I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because I always kind of felt like I was a little bit weird, because I do have this fascination with Disney and their family entertainment, if you will. But my father introduced me to horror movies in the 70s with John Carpenter's Halloween. And it's just been a genre that I've just embraced for much of my life. So tell me about your relationship with horror.
Well, I think horror and Christmas and Disney go perfect together, because they're both a creative playing with an energy. It's just whether you're playing with the energy of light or the energy of darkness, but it's not a negative thing. It's not an evil thing. Horror is very creative, and I think that I really like creativity. But Halloween, I just rewatched that. Boy, it is brilliant. It's we always think of Halloween as all the lesser slasher films that were taking after it, but the original Halloween is incredibly artistic.
You said you recently rewatched Halloween, but is there a certain film or anything that you really are inspired by?
The Shining is incredibly inspiring to me. I've seen it dozens of times. I go back to it literally once a month. I'll look at a scene. I was very inspired for my film Space Station by that movie, and some others like Let the Right One In, another great horror film. But yeah, I love The Shining, The Thing, Exorcist. Yeah, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But one of my first memories, probably the first memory of a movie I have, I was way too young, but it was on cable, was It's Alive, about this demon baby. And my family was watching it, and I was the youngest, and I saw it, and I shouldn't have. It scared me.
What is Julie Christie in that? Who's in that? Because I
don't remember. I've never gone back to watch it, but it's the one with the poster with a what is that called? Baby carriage with a claw coming out of it, a big monster.
Yes. I'm thinking of another film. She did a horror film a long time ago. I don't think it was that one, but
so I put myself in The Shining, and Carrie and The Exorcist, because it's just fun. I make videos because I just want to be in that world. Like, I don't go, what would people like? I'm obsessed with The Shining, and a character looked like me. So I always wondered, there's a character in the scene where Jack is doing the interview, and he doesn't say anything, and I look a little like him. So I was like, well, I want to find out who he is and what his deal is.
Right, and you give him you shine a spotlight on the character. It takes place in the office, and what I love about The Shining, I think there's a whole documentary, I think it's called Room
Yeah.
237, devoted to all the subtext that we see in that film and what Kubrick might have been doing or not. And I love that you give voice to this kind of perhaps incidental character, who we see in the office, as you said, and in the background, as Jack's on the phone, etc. So again, The Shining, comfort film. I put it on, do my laundry.
Yeah, and the reason I think we do is that no other director was given such leeway and so much money and time. And so no other movie in the history of the world, I think, can you watch where every scene is exactly what the artist, director, creator wanted. So you're not looking at, well, this is what, because most movies, even a Clint Eastwood or Spielberg movie, they are a bit limited by, here's what we had time to shoot that day, and we'll make it work with editing. But Kubrick could just go, well, I didn't get it, I'll just do the scene again tomorrow and the next day. And he did it till he got what he wanted, and he made sure every fucking thing on that set is right where he wants it. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing that won't exist anywhere else. And it gives you're getting to see a piece of art exactly as it was meant. And I think that's what we're feeling when we keep returning to it, is the safety and comfort of a world that is exactly as it's meant to be.
This is a masterclass in filmmaking right now, everyone. So thank you for sharing that, because you're right, because we've gone from Reno 911 and you just you have to get it in 2 takes. And then Kubrick, who is notorious for having his actors go through take after take after take.
Yeah, he didn't tend to go over budget. He always put out a movie that made money, so people just left him alone.
We could do a whole episode on Kubrick. I'll invite you back, and we'll just do it. Okay, we'll move from that to another Netflix show, Grace and Frankie, where you have a recurring character. So tell me about how you entered that world.
Yeah, I was on a boat. I was just on a cruise with a friend, and I got the audition. I filmed it on my laptop, sent it in. It was like 3 lines, 2 lines. No idea I would end up spending 6 years, intermittently, or however many seasons I got to visit that set and just be a part of that family for a moment, And what I'll say about that show is that everyone is so nice. You just want to throw up, in a good way. Lovely, lovely, kind people. And so I was glad that I got to keep coming back, and I was thrilled when I had an episode where I kind of was featured. My character breaks his leg and has to go get Martin Sheen steals the role from him. And I love it. But the director really wanted the cast to look real. And so in Hollywood, normally you can pop that fake cast right off, so the actor can pee. But the director decided he wanted a real cast on me.
You're kidding me. So tell me about this.
No. Could I pee? No.
Oh my gosh.
It was really, I was just stuck in the chair all day because they wanted it to look real. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, suffering for your art?
I'm not complaining. So now I know what it's like to break your leg.
This is a great detail. You've heard it here on Netflix and Phil. Well, the great thing is when you're in that chair, you have a moment where you encounter Jane Fonda in the audience, which is tell me about. I won't talk about
Barbarella. I love Jane Fonda so much, and I finally got to do a scene with her, because my scenes were always with the other group, and she and Lily Tomlin were very nice. They could have been a lot less nice, and I still would have said they were nice. They were just introduced themselves, asked me my name. It's just, it was lovely that they were so kind, and I treasured that moment as this little interaction I got to have with this legend. It was
Well, glad to hear about the camaraderie, because often you hear Hollywood horror stories. So I'm glad to hear it was a good experience.
Yeah, I've really lucked out and haven't been around much of that. I think there was one commercial director who I thought, wow, you're not a nice man. But other than that, I got real lucky, and I've worked with a series of incredibly nice stars.
Well, glad to hear it. Well, I think that leads us to what may be my last question, but if you want to share more about anything upcoming for you, etc., please do. But quickly, I want to mention I saw a movie called Gods and Monsters, and you bring a character to the opening of that film that kind of sets us up for a bit of the tone for the rest of the movie, and the focus of it, which is this dichotomy between the character of James Whale, as portrayed by Sir Ian McKellen, and Brendan Fraser. And tell me about how you got involved with that project and the...
Well, coming full circle back to Evie, remember that Mexican restaurant where I flew out Evie?
Yes.
A little known director named Bill Condon was there. He was friends with the birthday boy. And he thought, this guy's funny, this idiot running around in a wig, pretending to be an old lady. And so he brought me in for an audition for his movie. And so I booked that role because of me just out there doing my art for the love of it. And that's why I tell actors and creators, like, just do your art for the love of it. You know, that's how you become a magnet for jobs instead of chasing after the result of a job. But anyway, so I got the audition and I got it. And it was was fresh to Hollywood. I hadn't done much. And wow, what a role. And to get to work opposite Ian McKellen and see how he works, which is very joyful, very playful, nothing like sort of the Daniel Day-Lewis's who want to stay in character and don't talk to me. And Ian McKellen is joking around right up until action. And that was really beautiful to get to see an Oscar-nominated performance right in front of you. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Well, and it's great. So I would encourage, if you haven't seen it, check out
Gods. Oh, it's a beautiful movie.
It's beautiful. Well, it's a love letter to the films of the time that James Whale created.
And you want to hear something interesting, believe in yourself. When that movie premiered at Sundance, Bill Condon's agents were in the audience and they dropped him.
That's unusual.
And it went on to be nominated for Oscar. So it's like, you know, art is very subjective and people don't know what you like. Just do your art and don't worry about it. But I just thought that was really fascinating.
I
had no idea how good it was.
Absolutely. Well, that's gonna be my takeaway from my interview with you, is do your art and don't worry about it. That'll be the next premise of what you write.
Yeah, make your art for you. Make your art for you, because we're all one. So if you like something, there's a lot of people that also are interested in and like it as well. And so that's why you got to just make the thing you're fascinated with.
I totally appreciate hearing that. So really fast, you mentioned the special, where I understand you play Evie again. Is it the Paul Lynde special that's coming up?
Yeah, it's on the World of Wonder digital streaming service. If you want to watch my movie, My Baby, Space Station 76, it's available to watch on any outlet, Amazon, any iTunes, anywhere. And it's a good time of year to watch it, because actually the movie ends with this big blowout at a Christmas party on the spaceship.
Which is very, very in tune with the Poseidon Adventures New Year's party.
Exactly, because there's an asteroid heading to the station. So that's a dark comedy. And then again, disaster. If you can listen to the album anywhere, and if you have a theater if that sounds like fun for you, my YouTube channel and my free ebook at jackplotnick.com if you're interested in getting control of your thoughts and living just more joyfully.
Well, thank you so much, Jack. And we look forward to more content from you, more roles. And it's been such a pleasure to chat. I'm going to stop the recording here in a moment, but stay on, because I'd love to chat with you maybe a bit longer. And thank you for being so giving of your time today. Oh,
my pleasure. And the new Disney videos should be coming out in the next couple weeks.
Okay, beautiful. I'll put a link down there in the description box. Happy holidays. Watch Space Station 76. It's a Christmas movie, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Thank you, Jack.